Okay, so there was conversations around Jimmy Kimmel getting fired, deplatformed. A lot of people are pointing out, rightfully so, isn't this the same cancel culture stuff that we see from the left against the right? And now the right is trying to do it now that the right has some power. There's a merger that's about to happen. The government isn't going to allow this massive merger. And so they're weaponizing politics to deplatform Jimmy and the use of the FCC, not the CDC, the FCC, to say, hey, this is why he's now being deplatformed. Now, I think anybody who's sensible would say, well, Jimmy probably had some pretty bad ratings, but even if he did have bad ratings and this was the straw that broke the camel's back, it's still a bit weird that it was a political statement. It was a political joke, which I think was actually a bad joke. It's a bad joke that he put out. So let's look at that, and then we're going to look at the joke, and then we're going to look at something that could potentially really bring context into this. Okay, so Jimmy Kimmel's unprecedented rejection by broadcasters, a turning point in media, FCC chairman says. There's more work to be done. Okay, so this is saying that the Federal Communications Commission described the unprecedented rejection of late-night host Jimmy Kimmel by local broadcasters on Wednesday as a turning point for legacy media outlets, which he argued have been serving viewers progressive faux grass. I don't know how to say that. The comedian show Jimmy Kimmel was taken off air indefinitely by ABC earlier Wednesday after local broadcasters Nexstar and Sinclair announced plans to re-empt the program over the last controversial comments about the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Okay, so this action today by Nexstar and Sinclair, frankly, it's unprecedented. I can't imagine another time when we had local broadcasters tell. So they're saying this is local broadcasters that said this. Okay. Disney is the parent company of ABC. And the word was that there was a massive merger that was going to happen, and they didn't want the massive merger to happen. And so the FCC leveraged this with regards to shutting that down. And New York Post is saying this is ground up. This is ground up. This is people saying they've had enough of this. The folks on the left are saying, hey, this is cancel culture. The right is now doing cancel culture against the left, which I would say is pretty messed up, if that's true. If there's a merger happening and then this is being weaponized over politics. Okay. Now, this is something that came out. The FCC's commission prohibition against the broadcast of hoaxes is set forth in this section. The rule prohibits broadcast likenesses or permittees from broadcasting false information concerning a crime or catastrophe if the licensee knows this information is false. It is foreseeable that broadcast of the information will cause substantial public harm, and broadcast of the information does in fact directly cause substantial public harm. Okay, so if there's a false broadcasting, that is where you violate the FCC. And so let's go a little deeper on this, shall we? Let's go a little deeper on this. The joke is this.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger pointing, there was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half-staff, which got some criticism. But on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty.
Yes. He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction.
Okay, so that was the joke that got him off the air. Now, there's only... Again, if that was the joke in terms of blaming MAGA, yada, 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 dumb joke, but should he have been deplatformed? That is the question. I don't know. I don't know if that's serious enough. Now, if they're saying, hey, this is a top-down thing, people in the local markets got tired of this. This was foul. Okay, that's one argument. There was some conversation that clip was doctored. And that's where I read that statement earlier to you guys saying, hey, when you're presenting something as actual fake news in something so polarizing, that is potentially against FCC standards. Okay, so this is what I'm trying to figure out now. So those of you guys that are here, help me out. I'm trying to see if that was actually doctored, right? And I can't find anything to prove that this was doctored. So if the reporter questioned was edited in and not real or not real in that moment, then I'm all for him getting canned. That's wrong. That's diabolical. That is not okay. Yeah, no, this looks real. This is a different angle than the Charlie Kirk one. Yeah, I don't think this was doctored. How are you holding up? Right? Trump takes questions after Kirk said. This is crazy that we're in this. It's like a Black Mirror episode. We're in the era where we don't know if stuff is real or not.
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks. They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty. It'll be an absolutely magnificent structure. And I just see all the trucks. We just started, so it'll get done very nicely, and it'll be one of the best anywhere in the world, actually.
Thank you so much. My condolences to you, sir. My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk.
This is the same. It's not edited, guys.
May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there.
Yeah, no. This is not doctored. No. You hear it. You hear it in both clips, guys. Okay, hold on. We have to operate in the same epistemic reality. We cannot. No. You can't be like it's the same question, same thing, same question. My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie. How are you holding up?
I think very good.
I think very good. Same video.
My condolences to you, sir.
You just hear the report a little better.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks. They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the.
Yeah, no, it was kind of a goofy answer. Do I think it's okay that he made fun of him? No, I wouldn't have done that. Do I think it's worth, if this is the only reason he got canned? I don't know. It starts to feel like the left. Starts to feel like we're going to cancel you for having the wrong ideas. You're saying, okay, maybe he didn't hear the question. Okay, maybe he didn't hear the question. I think this is where you got to wrestle with. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, when you were unapologetic about your conservative values, Christian values, was it okay for people to create friction for you for having a wrong in air quotes ideas? Was that wrong? Now we're here, and the conservative people are in power, and it would seem as if, now again, I think that Jimmy Kimmel was on his way out anyway. I don't think he was that entertaining. And because he lied about the shooter, that is why he was canceled. That's fair. I think the quote unquote lying was initially they did say it was the gropers, right? That was what initially it came out. And so I don't know if he should have been canceled for a bad joke. I think when you start making fun of comedy as subjective as it is, I don't think Charlie would have been for that personally. Yeah, listen, if it's a legitimate grassroots bottom up switch, cool. People saying, "Hey, we didn't like this. This was in poor taste." Cool. Okay, so let's see it in context. We're giving a lot of grace to the president right now, but I'm for it. Let's I think maybe he misheard. I think maybe he didn't want to cry about his friend. I don't know.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks. They've just started construction.
Yeah, so this is on the White House.
Of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty. It'll be an absolutely magnificent structure. And I just see all the trucks. We just started, so it'll get done very nicely, and it'll be one of the best anywhere in the world, actually. Thank you very much.
You have one when you're in New York. Will you get to meet with Mayor Adams when you're?
Okay. Yeah, I think canceling folks with jokes ain't it, man. I don't think that's it. I think if there is a legal grounds for him spreading false information about the shooter, maybe there's something there. But I think that joke in and of itself does not seem like it's it. He heard him. That was his answer. Let's just say he was a friend who was in shock and confused.
Like the lone voice of reason during the Biden administration. He was there when the Biden administration was weaponizing government agencies and putting pressure on tech companies and doing all of this. Now, Carr's being accused, I mean, quite literally, of getting Jimmy Kimmel fired, like he personally did it. And I wanted to play this audio. Kane, we just pulled this. What network is this from? ABC, yeah, ABC. I wanted to play this for Carr and have him respond to this. This was just a little bit ago. Listen.
A spokesperson for the network saying Jimmy Kimmel Live will be preempted indefinitely. President Trump now calling Carr's decision to cancel Kimmel, quote, great news for America, turning his attention to late-night host Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyers on NBC. The president writing, that leaves Jimmy and Seth, adding, do it, NBC. An immediate response from leading Democrats, from Senator Chuck Schumer to California Governor Gavin Newsom.
So they were saying that Carr himself did it. The chairman of the Federal Communications Commission, Brendan Carr, now joins us via video.
Hey, by the way, I don't know who this lady is, but her YouTube show looks like a real news broadcast. One time for her. That is awesome. Her stuff looks legit.
Mr. Chairman, it's good to see you. I just wanted to get your
She got
response
the
to
chair.
this. So apparently you called up ABC and
This is
Nexstar
crazy.
and Sinclair, and you personally put pressure on them to get Jimmy Kimmel fired. Is that true?
No, not at all. But it does, I guess, tell a better story for partisans on the left. I think it's ironic. I mean, some of these very same people are engaged, and I think what can only be explained as projection. These are the same officials that literally were doing exactly that. What's happening here is we're undergoing a very fundamental shift in the dynamics in the media ecosystem. Most people don't get this, right? But you've got national programmers, that's Disney, ABC, that's Comcast, NBC. They don't have FCC licenses, and they therefore don't have a federal obligation to operate in the public interest, but they produce.
So FCC licenses, I think, are required for like public TV channels, like your free channels that used to be the only channels back in the day.
Most of the primetime TV shows that you do see on broadcast TV, whether it's 60 Minutes or NFL football or late night shows. Now, local broadcast TV stations, like your local Channel 7, wherever you are, they are licensed by the FCC, and they begin a unique opportunity to use public spectrum, this public resource. And because of that, they have a public interest obligation. So the way this is supposed to work is Disney and Comcast can come up with whatever programming they want, and individual TV stations are supposed to decide, should we run this or should we not? Now, that's what Congress intended. But the last 10, 15...
Props to this dude for going on there and providing clarity on what's going on. Okay, let's keep tracking with him.
20 years, that hasn't happened because Comcast and Disney and the programmers amassed so much power that they could effectively force TV stations in Utah, in Pennsylvania, to run this progressive foie gras coming out of New York and Hollywood. And what we saw yesterday was really a pivot point because it was the local TV stations that said, I've got to look out for the needs of my local community. I don't want to run this Kimmel stuff, and we're going to preempt it. And that's a really important moment of
okay, so let's
I don't want to run
back.
this Kimmel. Local TV stations that said, I've got to look out for the needs of my local community. I don't want to run this Kimmel stuff.
So he's saying this is local grassroots TV stations on the ground that get the national syndicated shows.
And we're going to preempt it. And that's a really important moment of local TV stations standing up for their viewers and pushing back against Comcast and Disney. So it's a market correction that's really necessary. But people don't want to grapple with that, right?
Candace Owens will say it's the juice. Hey, we got the best chat ever, man. Shout out to you, Texas.
They want to try to point fingers or try to find boogeymen, but that's really what's going on here.
Yeah, I think you bring up an interesting point. We're talking to the chairman of the FCC, Brendan Carr, if you're just joining us, because Sinclair, I think a lot of people forget, Sinclair, I wouldn't say they're hardcore conservative, but they're definitely not left-leaning. So it didn't surprise me to see Sinclair, review the content and say, well, we don't really like a guy going on late-night television telling everyone, making up false, maliciously false, and already at that point disproven claims about the nature of the killer. That seems, kind of completely ridiculous and unnecessary, and they responded to that. So that sounds like a Kimmel problem, not a Brendan Carr problem.
By the way, Babylon B had the best take on this. We're going to end it with that, but let's let him flesh this out some more.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. I mean, to some extent, I do think this goes back to President Trump, because when President Trump won the election, he sort of smashed the facade that we just have to accept what New York and Hollywood say is appropriate, is funny. And it's effectively an emperor has no clothes type of a moment. And what it comes down to now is ratings. How popular is Kimmel in these local markets? And I've seen these bar charts recently, and it's just like an absolute.
Yeah, I think the issue is the stuff that's usually made for late night is made from the we would describe as like the quote unquote coastal elites, right? L.A., New York. That's where the writers live, because Jimmy Kimmel doesn't write his own jokes. That's where the writers live. That's where the show gets produced. The reality is that the rest of America is not like L.A. and New York. Heck, I'm in San Diego, like an hour and a half south of downtown LA. San Diego is not like LA and New York. So you're dealing with the groupthink coming top down from these cities, but then on the ground, most markets are not like that. Most places in California are not like that. And so if there's a disconnect, that's going to reflect in the ratings.
Absolute nose.
And by the way, who even watches late night anymore?
Dive in terms of ratings. We know from Colbert that Paramount indicated that was losing them $50 million a year. So why were they running it at these local stations? And I think it's because they felt like they couldn't exercise their right to respond to the needs of their local community. And again, late night shows have undergone a pretty serious transformation over the last 10 years or so. It used to be that you would go for laugh lines, and now they're going for applause lines. They've gone from these court jesters that make fun of everybody. Like, go for it. Make fun of Republicans and Democrats. It's, that's part of what makes for democracy. Right. But instead of doing that, they became court clerics enforcing a very narrow ideology. And the ratings are telling them it's not working. So you can blame other people, but ultimately it's, it's the scoreboard.
This is going to be this is the Babylon Beast. It's going to be a little wild, but people okay with deletion of a human outraged by a TV show cancellation. How dare they? Kind of nailed it. Kind of nailed it. Kind of nailed it. Shout out to the Babylon Bee. Okay, this is even this is even worse. This is even worse. Democrats hold candlelight vigil for Jimmy Kimmel. Gosh. Oh my gosh. It's funny when Chris looks over at me and starts laughing. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's amazing. Wow. Well, again, big shout out to the Babylon Bee. Yeah, Dallas is coming up. Can't wait to see some of you guys in Dallas, September 30th. I know, 800,000 subscribers. Didn't even stop to reflect. Maybe we'll do an official 800,000 subscriber stream next week. We'll see. All right, guys, I got a jet. Man, we are out for all of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm in Branson, Missouri, and Nashville. Keep me in prayer. Keep me in prayer, will you? I am doing a big podcast on Wednesday. Can't tell you the name of it just yet because I try not to do that until stuff is actually shot. But let's just say it is arguably top 10, top 5 podcasts, and it's happening in Nashville. And I'm going to be there Wednesday, and I'm ecstatic to be going back. This all kind of came together organically. Harley said, saw you in Nashville too. My son, Skim Milk. We're reading the book. It's great. Thank you, Harley. But yeah, I'm back in Nashville. I'm going to Branson on Sunday, and then I'm back in Nashville. By the way, the guy in Nashville while we worshiped cracked me up. He said, if I ain't sweating, I ain't worshiping. Hey, man, that dude was fun, bro. He was fun. I really enjoyed him and his crew that he brought. It was really encouraging. I don't remember the brother's name. I think he's a pastor, like a youth pastor, young adults pastor. So, yeah, pray for me. Wednesday, massive podcast in Nashville. I am so excited, and I'm nervous. I'm excited. When is Chicago? Let's see. Okay, so we have New York for Sunday, April 27th, DC for the 25th. When is Chicago? So what we're going to do is announce waiting lists for all the cities, and you guys could sign up for those. We're going to build those lists up, and then you guys who are on the waiting list will get the first access to tickets. So that is all going to be set up within the coming weeks. So we got Dallas, Houston. This is all in the spring. Dallas, Houston, New York, DC, Chicago, Pittsburgh, and I think Atlanta. Then we'll do a big like SoCal event. We're talking speaking, live podcasting, and music. Yes, your boy's working on new music. I cannot wait for you guys to hear it. Yeah, Chicago's, I think, is in March. And we'll see you guys next week. All right.